have been using Affinity for many years now to make sewing pattern alterations and plan my cutting layouts. I project my completed pattern directly onto fabric for cutting. Affinity version 3 was just released and it's free to download and use. This is the first video in my Affinity Basics for Sewing course. Let's start with how to download Affinity and open your first document. Welcome! I'm going to be showing you how to download and get started with Affinity version 3. And the very first thing we're going to do is go to affinity.studio. You will need a Canva account to download this, but a Canva account is free. So just keep that in mind as you download this. You will need to enter your Canva account or sign up for a Canva account. When you come to affinity.studio, you can download it by just going to the Get Affinity. When you download this, all you have to do is say, we're going to sign up to download. I already have a Canva account, and you can choose it with your Google or just with your email, any way that you'd like to do that. Once you have signed in to your Canva account, it will come to the Download Affinity screen. If you have a Mac, you can just push the download button. And if you have a Windows, there are a few options. You need to figure out what your system setup is, and I'm going to show you how to do that. At this time, it is not available for any Linux users, so keep that in mind. It is only for Mac and Windows operating systems. For the Windows, you will see we have the x64 architecture or the ARM64 architecture. I'm going to show you how you can figure out what your computer has so you know which one you need to download. And you're going to go to your Start and go to the gear, which is the settings on your computer. Once you're on your settings, go ahead and go over to System and go down to where it says About. Once you're here, you're going to scroll down to where it says Device Specifications, and you're going to look where it says System Type. It will either say you have a x64 based processor or an ARM64 processor. That will let you know which one you need to download. Now, I'm not a programmer, but from my research, I found that what you would first download is the MSIX times your system architecture. So if you're ARM, you would download this one. And if you were x64 processor, you would go here. If you're having trouble with this version, what it does is it's automatic updates that it sends. If you're having difficulty with it, you can uninstall it and come install this one if you are having difficulties with this one. But go ahead and default with the MSIX times your architecture version. I am a 64 processor, so I went ahead and downloaded that. Now keep in mind, you might get a security warning that says this is downloaded from the internet. Do you trust it? Just go ahead and say you can trust it and continue letting it to download. Once you have it downloaded, it will open up on a screen which you'll have some templates. Mine looks a little different because I've already opened it before, and we have what you are going to do is have some lessons down here, and you'll probably have some templates here. When you are ready to create a new file, you can come over here and push the New button. I've created a template that is a projector file, but there are other templates here. I just like to create a blank, what I call projector file, to do my alterations on, and I name it projector file. I change the page width to 150 by 150. That gives me a lot of space. I do work in inches, but you can also work in centimeters if you would like. Since this isn't going to be for print or anything like that, these other things are for graphic designers. I just leave it at the defaults and don't worry about changing any of the color profiles. I like to have a white background. If you want to have a checkered board background, you could always turn on transparent background, but I don't worry about that. Artboards are when it's a multi-page document, which most projector files are not, so I leave that off. All the others I leave the same. I do not add a drawing scale. You want to keep it a 1-to-1 ratio. And then you can create document. You can also create a preset there. I'm going to go ahead and click on what I have here. Once you have it open, this is what it will look like. We have up at the top here are the different options or the different things you're going to work on in Affinity, because it has combined vectors and images all into one. What you're going to mostly be working on for patterns is the vector. Pixels are for images, layouts are for publications and things like that. And then if you have a Canva Pro account, you will have access to the AI features, which is on the Canva AI. If you do not have a Canva Pro account, that's absolutely okay. You just don't have access to the Canva AI. Don't worry, you don't need it. So over in the vector setting is where you are going to work with patterns. If you don't want to work on a blank document and you're ready to open up a pattern, we will do that by going to File and Open. You can open a file that is on your computer. When you find a file on your computer that you want to open, it will open up and load like this. If this is white and it's asking you for a password, that just means the file was password protected and you need to unlock the file before it will open an Affinity Designer. An easy way to do that is to just open it up in patternprojector.com, go to the Stitch menu and export it. Once you're here, you can go ahead and push OK and it will open up the pattern. Now it jumps over to the Layout Studio. So remember, you can just click back to the Vector Studio that we will work at. If your document has changed to what units it is in, you can right-click on the corner and just change it to the unit that you would like to work in. I still have my other file open. There are tabs right here, and I could switch between them. That's just a quick getting started with the new Affinity version 3. Be on the lookout as I will be doing more tutorials coming soon.